What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to Screentime Love. I'm Manisa, your host, and we talk about dating here, love, music, messy shit all day. But today is heavy, and we are bringing the Diddy update that I promised you guys. It's the trial of Sean Diddy Combs. And if you've been keeping up, you already know this isn't just a celebrity breakup or drama headline. This is Cassie Ventura. I mean, she was in a relationship with Diddy for over a decade, and it was so weird. But now she's testifying in a federal sex trafficking case against him. It's not just shocking. It's heartbreaking that she has to go over this shit and relive the trauma in front of a billion people. She described her relationship with Diddy as being under control, as like he dictated everything. Like he dictated how she looked, who she talked to, what she wore. But the thing that really got her were the so-called freak-offs.
It was the growling for me.
She says Diddy would orchestrate these sex parties, sometimes with male escorts, and she felt forced to participate. She testified that drugs were involved, ecstasy, ketamine, weed, and she used them to numb herself from what was happening because she couldn't fathom doing that without it.
Turn the music down. Never mind. Hey, hey.
If you've ever been in a toxic relationship,
singer, chain blinger, holla at the next chick soon as you're blinking. What's your persona about?
So toxic that you don't even recognize yourself and you start just making justifications. She said she felt worthless, and I mean, she was young. He kind of took advantage of the fact that she was a young, upcoming artist. Sometimes we stay quiet too long and we just normalize the control, or we kind of just normalize what is happening to us, and we start justifying. And I feel like once you start justifying for somebody, that's when it's abuse. And listen, this isn't about gossip. This is about accountability, power, fame, manipulation, and how it all collides. And these celebrities, Russell Simmons, R. Kelly, and the defense is saying that it's all consensual, and they were all strong, consenting women. But Cassie's here. She's answered the chat, and she wants to be heard. I want to hold space for that, because whether you've dealt with emotional control or manipulation or anything that made you lose yourself, you're not alone. That shit happens all the time. And you keep it from people. You keep it from people that you're close to because you don't want them to hate the person that you're with. And so when it actually does come out, then you are, the one that's crazy, or the one that ruined everything because they were perfect in everyone else's eyes, because that's kind of how you lifted them up to be. On Monday, Phillips said Combs would give him instructions each time recounting that on one occasion, Combs instructed, "You need to rub more baby oil on each other. You don't have enough on." He witnessed Combs assault Ventura in her apartment, and someone had said they saw a liquor bottle fly across the room and hit the wall. Then Mr. Combs grabbed Cassie by the hair and started dragging her. Mr. Combs pulled her into the bedroom. It sounded like him slapping her. And then on Tuesday, the defense lawyer, Xavier Donaldson, said that Philip developed romantic feelings for Ventura and was attempting to isolate Combs in order to date her. Philip said, "I was attracted to her. If she ever gave me the chance to date her, I absolutely would have." Jurors were shown a video from 2016 where Combs allegedly beat and dragged Ventura down a hotel hallway in Los Angeles. We've all seen the footage over and over again. Flores said Combs attempted to hand him a stack of money, telling the guard that he didn't see anything. Flores testified that he told Combs, "I don't want your money. Just go back into your room and do you, boo." Ventura was asked about the sex parties called freak-offs, which the prosecution claims were orchestrated by Combs. She said that he would hire an escort to set up this experience. She said that the 2016 hotel incident came after a freak-off and she was attempting to leave. I do want to talk about the fact that it's just such a pandemonium of a situation outside of the courthouse. I mean, there's hundreds of people just trying to get a glimpse of what is happening from the outside. You know, like, no one is even welcome inside. So there are people who are auctioning off their spots for $500 to $600. Like, man, who the fuck has time for that? Like, to do that? I mean, this is the biggest trial right now, and it sounds gossip, or it's just celebrity gossip, or it's trending right now. No, motherfuckers, these are people that we grew up with as like teenagers, and we were listening to Puff Daddy and we were singing his songs, and we were, it was something about him. It was like he was a G, you know what I mean? And he was powerful and he was successful, and he kind of paved the way for so many artists. I can say, like, on my playlist of like songs alone, I probably have like 60 Diddy songs in there, and then Cassie, we grew up. I mean, I would go out to the bar every Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, and I would hear Cassie, and that shit would be bumping. Like, we were a part of that era. So I am heavily involved. I'm heavily invested. I actually want to see how this plays out, because P. Diddy can actually walk off. He can actually walk off unscathed. And I mean, he clearly has the money to do it. I don't think he's broke. I'm pretty sure he is good to go monetarily if he needed to get the best lawyer. But ironically, his lawyer is a rape victim herself. So, I mean, I don't know if that's like some kind of plan or a maneuver for him in some way. I don't know. Freak-offs are going to be aired to the people, the jury, in the courthouse, and they're pretty gnarly from what I hear. Like, I mean, not only has Cassie entered the chat, but the first guy, that little Rodney, I think he's the first one that sued P. Diddy, he's there. I mean, it's kind of just a spectacle. Like, I can't even imagine what is going on in that trial right now, as far as like emotions and hatred and resentment. I guess that's it really for my P. Diddy update. Nothing much to say except for there are a lot of things that are coming out that we have already knew, king parties or something, or hotel parties, and clearly these are actual things that happen after hours. And whether it's and that's another thing, is that the defense is spinning this as P. Diddy and Cassie had a sexual relationship, that this is how they were intimate, is by being swingers and by having other people involved and by being abused and whatnot. So I guess all of these things that are coming to light, P. Diddy is basically, his defense is saying, well, this is basically just a relationship. These are two people who have sex with each other and they are freaky as fuck. And that's what his argument is. But what about the rest of the motherfuckers in the story? What about the ones that, I don't know, these are all allegations, but what about, the guys that worked for you that you had to force yourself on or ask to have sex with? I mean, these things are a little bit fishy. And then for you to have sex workers come to your house and pay them, I mean, that's prostitution. So, I mean, yeah, sure. That is definitely a sexual preference to be freaky and to be a swinger, but I don't know. The other things just don't add up to me. So, as you can see in the photo here, during the freak-offs, Ventura testified that she was 22 years old at the time. She was confused, she was nervous, but also loved him so much. She just remembers, her stomach. This is her words. She says that, I just remember my stomach falling to my butt, just the nervousness and the confusion in that moment, she said. Ventura claims she often couldn't say no to Combs. Afraid of threats of blackmail, violence, she claimed Combs threatened to post videos on the internet. Sean controlled a lot of my life, whether it was career, the way I dressed, everything and anything. I just didn't have much say in it at the time, she said. Sean is a really polarizing person, also really charming. Also said it was hard to really be able to decide in that moment what you need when he's telling you what he wants. Ventura testified that her relationship with Combs began as a platonic one, but that changed after he kissed her in the bathroom on her 21st birthday in Las Vegas. And she had signed a deal with the devil, aka Combs' music label Bad Boy Records. In 2006, the couple kept their relationship private. This is in her words, she says, I was just enamored by him. We were just having a good time. It was really fun at this point, she said. I mean, imagine being 21, you're an upcoming artist, P. Diddy, Sean Combs is now your boyfriend. I mean, it's exciting, right? Like, you don't want to turn away from it, especially, being in the industry and trying to, come out and be great. Like, he was Sean Diddy Combs, At the time, she thought they were in a monogamous relationship, but in her testimony on Tuesday, she said Sean had many girlfriends. Over time, she testified that Combs became over-controlling and at times would involve security staff to contact her. Sean Diddy Combs' sexual misconduct allegations. She claimed that if Combs didn't like the way she looked or didn't like her attitude, he would get abusive with her. She would make the wrong face, and the next thing she knew he was in her face. She testified that Combs paid her rent at her apartments in New York and Los Angeles, and he had his own set of keys and would often make unannounced visits. What is Diddy being charged with? Combs faces federal charges of racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud, coercion, transportation to engage in prostitution. Been held without bail since September of 2024. 2 of his homes were raided by federal investigators 7 months earlier. Prosecutors have alleged to use the resources of his music empire to create a criminal enterprise and whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, obstruction of justice. The list goes on. But as we know, Diddy's team is trying to spin it to where this was just like a relationship thing and, whatever. But the prosecution, they're going to lay out the receipts. There's a timeline that spans years and years of testimony and surveillance footage and testimonies from women and men, So, I mean, we can say all day till we're blue in the face that this might be some kind of way to get back at her ex, but let's just be real, like, this is something that is a big issue, and it's happened with R. Kelly and Russell Simmons, and now it's happening with Diddy. But the difference is that Diddy was a mogul. He was somebody that we fucking watched tear up the fucking industry, come from nothing to something. And it's just crazy to see and kind of heartbreaking at the same time, you know? But the trial is just getting started. We got weeks of testimony ahead, more witnesses, more tea. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of me after work in my car talking hella shit. But for now, what we know is this. The Diddy persona, the champagne popping, yacht sailing, let's dance all night, hop in all of my clients' videos, is being challenged by a much darker story. And if the jury believes what these women are saying, it's going to change the legacy of one of hip-hop's biggest icons. And I'm still going to play some of his music because I like it. But yeah, it's fucked up. Anyways, this episode of Screentime Love was brought to you by Anissa, supported by Anissa, sponsored by Anissa, all of the above. So keep watching, follow, like, engage, whatever it is that you think will help me become a better podcaster and add to my money. Then you do it. That's all today, folks. Have a good one. See you next time. Bye.